Hello, everybody. Welcome back. And this is my forum post for this week by road or by air. So, brief overview. We'll talk about some of the costs, time comparison, some considerations, and we'll finally get to my recommendation. So, some of the costs associated with our trip that we need to consider. Uh, for example, I took a flight leaving from our home base to Cincinnati using the corporate airplane, which I selected as the Pilatus PC-12, and I recommend that aircraft in earlier forum posts. So it's going to take us about 5.5 hours commuting time, and the total cost for the trip, depending on how you look at it, it's either going to be $683 for a 300 nautical mile trip or $3,054 cost per hour. And we get those estimates from our cost of operation tab. So if we're looking at the per hour cost, it seems really expensive, but it can also be one day. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. Whereas if we take an airline, it's going to take us well over a day worth of time just commuting. And the cost for the trip alone is going to be over $2,000 in 2 nights. And again, that comes from our city pair analysis. So looking at some time comparisons, again, going with the on-demand model, total time, we're looking about 5.5 hours travel time. That's, about 6 minutes going to and from the office, both directions. It's less than an hour flight to Cincinnati and about the same time back. And we're only driving about a half an hour to or from the job site. So again, it's only going to take us 5.5 hours, so essentially one business day. Whereas if we go with an airline model, of course, we have the same travel time to and from the office, but now we have to consider waiting that TSA, our flight time, our time for layovers, which could or could not be extended. And we also have to consider the travel time to and from the job site, which is also going to take longer, especially considering we'll have to get a rental car. Plus, we have the overnight stay that is also incurred with taking the airlines, so that's going to take up even more time that we could be spending with other clients. So essentially expect our airline travel to take about 4 days or essentially an entire week worth of travel. And that's an entire week that we could be spending doing other projects, but now we have to spend an entire week just traveling. So some considerations, of course, obviously if we choose an airline, we have to consider getting a hotel, uh, getting a rental car, and that goes for either one. Food costs, that more plays into especially the airline, where we need to eat, especially if we have to stay over multiple nights. And again, if we are looking at the airline model, we have to consider, entertainment. Maybe we want to go out a night or two, or we want to entertain our clientele. We have to take those costs into consideration. And we also have to consider the reliability of the airline. Are they going to cancel our flight? Is it going to be on time? We have to consider all of those unknowns, especially when looking at an airline. So my recommendation is cheaper to fly with the airlines, but we're going to save time and probably see other clients with on-demand. It's only going to take us that half a day. But ultimately, it comes down to, where the company wants to spend its money. Do we want to be cheaper and pay for an airline ticket, or do we want to maybe shell out just a little bit more money, which really isn't that much more, to be able to see our client faster and to do more business? And again, me personally being a pilot, I would like to fly, and I'll get paid for it too. So of course, I'm going to recommend using our on-demand aircraft. So in conclusion, we talked about the cost, time comparison, considerations, and recommendations. So thank you for watching my video, and I hope it helped.